Doing good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And before we get into the interview, can you walk me through your CV? What exactly you do in your day-to-day activities?
In my previous role, particularly at Global Tech System Global Services and Genpact India Private Limited, I gained extensive experience in transaction monitoring. My responsibilities included performing end-to-end monitoring for various type of transactions such as international payments, credit card activities, and wire transfers. Also, I have work experience in end-to-end KYC as well, where I have experience in individual and corporate both. I was adept at identifying red flags for potential money laundering, fraud, and terrorist financing. I managed high volume AML alerts, ensuring compliance with global regulation like FATF and OFAC and FinCEN. These three are US regulatories. I work on US client. I utilize advanced AML tools to monitor large deposits and unusual transactions pattern, which helped me distinguish between legitimate and suspicious activities effectively. So I have to analyze and identify red flags and create the report, and accordingly I have to escalate those cases. If things are good to go, then I have to close the case in false positive, otherwise we have to escalate to the SAR and STR. That's all from my end.
Yeah. Like, what was the reason for your job change?
Actually, unfortunately, the layoff is happened in my previous company, so I am on notice period right now.
What do you know about money laundering and the stages of money laundering?
Money laundering, in simple terms, we can say the black money converts into white money, that is called money laundering. And anti money laundering is we have to prevent the financial crime, that is called anti money laundering.
Okay.
Illicit fund into legitimate fund, that is called anti money laundering.
Okay. And what are the stages of money laundering?
There are three stages of money laundering. First one is placement, layering, and the third one is integration.
Okay. Can you give me an example stating that placement, layering, and integration? Can you explain me the concept?
When the money, like when the transactions is happened, that is called placement, introducing illicit fund into the financial system. Then comes layering, moving money through multiple transactions to hide their origin. Like he individual person do transactions like 8,800 to avoid the threshold avoidance, so that is called layering. And the third one is integration, reintroducing laundered money as a legitimate money. When the money comes in a financial system, and they are legitimate according to our system. If we didn't find any suspicion, that is legitimate assets or legitimate money.
Okay. And you mentioned about AML, anti-money laundering, used to prevent money laundering, right?
Yeah.
And what is the process that is used in the banks to prevent money laundering?
It's depend on bank to bank, process to process. They hire analyst to, and we worked on all the transaction, check all the transaction on a daily basis. That is our work. And we have to find the red flags like structuring and smurfing, unusual transaction, large number of deposits. These kinds of red flags we have to find. And one more red flag, rapid movement of funds.
What do you mean by structuring?
According to me, structuring means if the customer is doing uh, 9,500 transactions rapidly, like he in a time frame, like he did today and before that, and 2 3 days back, in rapidly they doing a transaction 9,500, just to avoid the threshold triggered. So that is called structuring. So we have to find this. If he is avoiding this kind of a red flag, that is mean we have to notice and report that red flag, and escalate this issue to other team.
If the customer is doing means like he is transferring, he's making an online payment of 9,500 or is he depositing? What do you mean by that?
He is depositing his money into bank account or any other bank account.
Okay. What if he is transferring 9,500 from his account to his friend's account? Is that comes under structuring?
If he if he's transfer his amount in his bank account, then we have to check his income. If it's legitimate, if it's good to go, then it's legitimate. If he does for one or two times, then it's fine. Then, or if it's a match to his uh, company profile, then it's also fine. But if he is doing again and again, then it comes in instruction that it means he is avoiding the threshold avoidance.
Okay. What do you know about CTR?
I don't remember right now.
Okay. And can you name any two common typologies which you come across in your activity?
PSA and PMT. PSA stand for personal savings account, and PMT is payment monitoring system. So in
No,
PSA, yeah.
I mean to ask the typologies. Typologies like the red flags which you come across every day, at least two or three.
Yeah, rapid movement of funds, threshold avoidance, and also unusual transactions.
Can you give an example for unusual transaction?
Unusual transactions, sorry, cross border payments as well. If the amount, if the transaction has happened any high risk jurisdiction, that is unusual transaction, or the amount is transferred to any sanctioned country as well, that is also comes in unusual transaction to financing the terrorist finance.
Okay. And you mentioned about you know about FATF, OFSI, right?
Yes.
Is it you mentioned the regulatories? Okay, tell me about FATF. What you know about FATF?
FATF, yes. FATF stands for Financial Action Task Force. This is a regulatory for it's a regulation of international body for AML CFT regulations. And OFAC, Office of Assets, sorry, Office of Foreign Asset Control. This is for US enforcement section, implement for US enforcement section. Actually, this is OFAC implement the regulation for sanctioned countries and also individuals and entities.
What do you know about FATF gray list and blacklist? You heard? Okay, okay, okay. And you mentioned about okay, you file SAR report. Do you work on SAR reports as well? Hello.
Hello, am I audible? Hello.
Yeah, yeah. You do
Yeah.
you work on SAR report as well?
Yes, actually, in EDD, when I was working in EDD, I create a report for.
Okay. Where all the SAR reports? To whom you file SAR report?
Actually, I was working in an annual team, so I create the report for SAR, and that the escalated to L2 team.
Okay, okay, got it. And you mentioned it as responsible for overseeing full process of suspicious activity reporting within the financial intelligence unit, right? So, what is mean by financial intelligence unit, and what is FIU for UK?
Actually, I was working for US. I have
Okay,
little knowledge about UK.
so, okay, you can tell me what is FIU for US.
Financial Intelligence Unit used for to prevent the financial crime or terrorist financing and follow the rules and regulation according to FIU.
Which department is called as FIU?
Transaction monitoring.
Okay, okay. Okay, tell me about PEPs. You mentioned that you're working on PEPs as well. What do you know about PEP?
Yeah, PEP stands for political exposed person who have greater corruption risk,
Okay, any examples can you name why they are considered as a greater risk for corruption? Why PEPs are
because they have publicly power. They have the power of using his position uh, to transfer the public money to any sanction country, or they helped terrorist financing as well. That is why PEP is comes in high risk. And if we check on LexisNexis, if a PEP highlighted, then US applies some hefty penalty to PEP person.
And what do you know about sanctions? Have you worked on any sanctions?
No, I don't work on sanction, but I have only knowledge about sanction countries like North Korea, UAE countries, all Cuba. I only know about this in sanction.
And what do you know about sanction list?
Like export, import, business or travel, different kinds of sanctions like import business, export business, travel business, or
No, I mean to ask sanction list.
no, I don't know actually.
Okay. And any idea about what is mean by BSA?
But actually, I know, but right now I forgot it.
Okay, it is a Bank Secrecy Act.
Bank Secrecy Act, yes.
Okay. But your resume says you worked in shift payments and all.
Shift payments.
So, like, what is that? Like, you mentioned about I worked on cross-border payment, shift, wire transfer, and ACH. What do you mean by that?
ACH is like automated clearing house payments. It means where the like it comes in wire transfer payments. So it used for hiding the origin of the money. So we have to check those transactions by using internal tools.
Why is shift used? Like, have you worked on shift payments?
I actually don't read about it that I have mentioned in my resume, but I will.
Okay. Okay. What do you know about KYC then? So, coming to KYC, what do you know about KYC and why do you think banks perform KYC? Have you worked on KYC? Since you have
Yes.
mentioned about it. Okay, tell me about it. What do you know about KYC?
So basically, KYC is a main part of any bank. KYC is doing because we have to onboard the customer. Before onboard the customer, we have to verify the customer details and customer background. Who is he basically? So we have to do KYC of the customer before onboarding to the bank.
Tell me, how do you do KYC for a private limited entity? Have you worked on private limited or you have worked on individuals or entity?
Actually, I work on individual and corporate, it means in entities as well, but mostly cases we receive on corporate entities, private limited, and trust.
Can you explain me about private limited entity? What do you do KYC for a private limited entity and what parties you identify? Just brief him about it. How do you do KYC for a private limited entity?
Private limited companies who don't run the company in it's not a government company, it's a private limited company. So for private limited company, we have to check the some document, we receive some document from the relationship manager. So we have to verify that document that is true or not. It doesn't mean we receive the documents from relationship manager is completely true. So we have to cross check the documents. Like first, I will tell you the what kind of documents we require to cross check. First one is certification of incorporation. The other one is MOA and memorandum of articles and association of article of association. In memorandum of association, it's a legal document that where the companies exist. Association or article of association is in this document the rules and regulation of the companies mentioned. Proof of register, office address, utility bills, lease agreement, these kind of documents we required for private limited companies.
And later, what do you do once you got the documents?
Okay, and once we receive the document, we have to verify those documents correct or not. So we have some internal tools and open source, company open source. So we have to check and verify those details by their name, or some government site as well. So we have to check there, and after that we have to do screening. In a screening part, there are three types of screening we have to do. First, PEP, adverse media, and the third one is section. So we use LexinXs for these screening, where we can simply we have to write their name, or if it's entity, right, we have to write the company name, country's name, city name, we have to write all the things. If not match, then we have to do with fuzzy name, change the middle name or first name or last name, and somehow we have to find the details in one page, the about adverse media, about the PEP of sanction. If it's hit, then it comes in high risk. If it's not, then it comes in good to go position, and we onboard the customer or client.
Okay, what are the parties you identify in a private limited for screening?
Sorry, I don't get you.
No, what are the parties identified in a private limited entity?
Parties.
Yeah, like you mentioned directors, right? Like what are the individuals we identify in a private limited entity?
Individual customer who want to be open his account in the bank, we have to check as an individual. And private limited is, we have to check like stakeholder. For example, stakeholder, every company have some stakeholder, but we have to check only those stakeholder who have more than 25% or more than 25% share in company. So we have to screening of only those stakeholder who have 25% or more than 25%.
Yeah, is it stakeholder or shareholder?
Sorry, shareholder. Yes, sorry, shareholder.
Any idea about what is the difference between MOA and AOA? Memorandum of Association, Articles of Association.
In memorandum of association is a legal document which provide by, I guess, it's government. And association, article of association, it's a document where the company runs on which ethics, rules or regulation, these kinds of details mentioned on that document. This is a difference.
Okay. What are the factors that contribute to risk of a entity or an individual? What are the factors that determine the risk?
If I'm talking about high risk customer or corporate customer, we checked these we screening them on LexinXA. If it any kind of hit generated by LexinXA, like adverse media, any negative news find, or any kind of PEP hit, or they do some transaction on sanction content, any kind of hit on generated on LexinXA, that comes in higher risk. If it doesn't, that comes in low and medium risk.
Okay. So far, what are the tools you have used for screening?
For screening, we use LexinXS. For KYC documents to verify, we use Griffin and Dow
Okay.
Jones.
Okay. Have you worked on Actimize
No, I don't work on Actimize.
that you have mentioned in your resume stating that you have worked on Actimize?
No, I don't work on Actimize.
And what do you know about types of PEP? Any idea about types of PEP? Okay. And adverse media? What do you know about adverse media?
Adverse media is about when regular when US government or regulation find something on, when they break the rules of financial system. So US government fine them, and that comes in adverse media, that they did something wrong with financial system, they breached the red flag. Identity documents are government document where you have to identify yourself, that you are the, like passport in India, that we use Aadhaar card, PAN card to show that yes, we are the word I am missing right now. Nationalism.
What is the difference between SAR report and STR report?
Suspicious action report is for unusual transactions and unusual activities, and as similar STR. But in an STR, suspicious transaction report, in STR, it's only for a specific transaction.
Okay, and what are the pillars of KYC?
It's CIP, risk assessment, and ongoing monitoring.
Okay, what is the meaning of CIP?
Yeah. Sorry?
What is the meaning of CIP?
CIP, customer identification program, where we have to collect their IDs, customer details, and we have to verify and the documents of given by the customer, that comes in CIP, and we have to verify those documents that is right or wrong, they provided the right documents or not.
What is the full form of FinCEN?
Financial crime network enforcement.
What is the difference between CDD and EDD? Client due diligence and enhanced due
Enhanced
diligence.
in customer due diligence is it's basically used for every customer and every customer, and in CDD it's a normal check for the onboarded customer, and for enhanced due diligence is a deeper check for the customer who comes in high risk, like PEP and militaries person. These person comes in high risk, or who have
Okay.
this
Right now, in which directive are we in? You mentioned as you have knowledge about EU AML directives. So right now, in which AML directive we are in? What is the latest AML directive?
US Patriot. No, it's European AML.
Yeah. What is the latest?
CA comes in U.
Yeah. Okay. No worries. And yeah, Pragya, do you have any questions for me?
Yes, I need feedback on my today's performance.
See, when it comes to feedback, you have to, the first basic thing is that you have provided your resume stating that you have work experience on sanctions, transaction monitoring, KYC and all. Okay. But when we questioned it, you mentioned it that I have not worked on it. Because a resume is the first indication, that is an authentication document you are producing to the company stating that I worked for 6 years and I have gained this knowledge.
Yeah, yeah, got
But
it.
if your resume says it is like fake or a dummy, see how what kind of impression you are leaving on a interviewer, right?
Yes, yes, yeah,
So make sure whatever you are confident, put that on a resume, or whatever you are putting on a resume, you have to be confident. Got it
yeah,
right?
yeah.
That is the basic. And when it comes to concept, there are many concepts where you have to work on, because you're working on a transaction monitoring. You might have heard about CTR, currency
Yeah.
transaction report. And when you are working on a structuring, because structuring is one of the technique which we use to avoid CTR report.
Okay.
Okay, you have to, that minute details also you have to focus on. Maybe in transaction monitoring your subject knowledge is okay, but now they are expecting people to be beyond the subject knowledge what they are supposed to learn. Okay. And you mentioned about FATF and OFAC and all. So these also you have to cover it. What is FATF? FATF is an international body. It is not a regulatory.
Okay.
And OFAC is for sanctions regulatory or sanctions
Yeah.
imposition. Those things are fine. And you mentioned about BSA, but you are not aware of BSA. So what I suggest is, don't put on a resume which you are not aware of it. But if you are putting on a resume, you should learn about it.
Okay.
Okay. And when it comes to KYC also, your knowledge is okay. Okay. I won't say it like too good to go for an interview. Like knowledge is okay. Okay. And that's what the main thing is. Whatever you are putting on a resume, you should be aware of it, or else remove it. And your resume also looks like not a professional. You have to change a little bit resume. And it is almost 4 pages. You can make it short to 2 pages, because the interviewer doesn't have time to read, to go through each and everything,
Yes, yes.
right?
I will work on it. Yes.
Yeah, that is a major feedback I have. And like most of the questions I have asked, they're like only 50% correct, the not the entire thing. So you have to work on Again, each and everything. Got it right?
Yeah.
Only transaction monitoring, that concept knowledge and work knowledge is good, and rest of that, I don't think you have to work on it, because it clearly says that you have not worked on sanctions, because SWIFT payments are used for sanction screening. So you mentioned that the SWIFT cross-border payments, they are wire transfer. We all it all be used for sanction screening purpose, but you mentioned that you worked on it. But since you have not worked, you can remove all those things which you have not worked.
You mentioned about gray word something. I don't know about it.
Gray list, yeah, because FATF has two kinds of list: gray list and black list. Based on the country's AML laws and policies, they categorize the countries based on by evaluating on mutual evaluation report. They will categorize the countries into gray list and black list. That is issued by FATF. So just make sure you have to work on all the questions which I have asked. What all the questions I have asked is the basic questions, not much
Yeah.
into, like, since you have mentioned you're almost having 5 to 6 years, right?
Yeah. But in
So
transaction monitoring.
mm,
Oh,
at least in transaction monitoring, you should be aware of all the things, because the transaction monitoring, FATF plays a very important role.
okay.